Hi, everyone. It's Shelley, and welcome to episode 22 of SNOWED, the Michael Snow is a Fraud story. Again, I just want to thank everybody who's been reaching out to me personally. It really means a lot, your support. The one thing you have to know is that he has not taken away my personality and my sense of humor. So that is still there, and I refuse to let him change who I am as a person. So April 2022, Mr. Snow brings me home a Toyota Yaris. And at this point, I really didn't care what I was driving. But how did Mr. Snow get the Toyota Yaris? Because he certainly wasn't able to purchase anything on credit. And at this point, neither was I. He had racked everything up so high that that was just never going to be a possibility for me again. Well, as luck would have it, Mike had another friend that was going to finance this vehicle. I was very stunned. I said to him, a friend? You have a friend that's willing to finance a vehicle for you? And he said, well, yes. I mean, my friends, my friends are great friends. And I said to him, you know what? I have some really great friends too, but none of them would be willing to finance a vehicle for me, nor would I even ask. I would be way too embarrassed to ask one of my friends to do that for me. But that's how Mr. Snow rolls. Also, I think this was about the same time, and I said this to my family the other day. I told them the story about how I had been complaining to Mr. Snow about, again, finances. I know that's the whole theme of this story. But I was also saying, I'm embarrassed. I mean, my friends, my family, people around me, they're starting to realize things are not right here. You can tell in my face, you can tell in my home, you can tell, just so much. I hadn't bought new clothes in almost years at that point. I hadn't had a haircut or a color in years. People could tell. And I was embarrassed. And he said to me, people fall on hard times. Like, you need to get a backbone. So I guess my question to you, Mr. Snow, is, how do you like the one I have now? Mr. Snow had been dealing with a dealership in Regina called O'Brien's, and they were willing, he tells me, to finance him a larger amount than the actual vehicle purchase so that he would get cash back and he would, have some cash, which at this point, honestly, I didn't care if he was robbing a bank. Like, this sounded sketchy as hell to me, but I didn't care how we got that money. So, I just really wanted my mortgage paid down and some bills paid. I needed to get caught up. Anyway, the friend, he told me, was Cindy. If you remember from a few episodes back, the farmer's wife, the woman he'd actually been sleeping with since 2020, that I know now. So she was going to finance this car because she was such a wonderful friend. I did go into the dealership once with him to look at vehicles, although truly I could have cared less at this point. I really didn't care what I was driving. I was like, pick a car. I just need a car. The salesman that he had been dealing with had overheard us talking, and he said to Mr. Snow, her name's not Cindy, right? It's Denise. And I looked at Mr. Snow, and Mr. Snow said, oh, yeah, I know. She's got many names. Denise is her legal name. She goes by Cindy, so that's what I call her. I tucked that little nugget of information away in the back of my mind, and you should too, because that name is going to come up again. So this is the Toyota Yaris that Mr. Snow brought me home. And I mean, it was a fabulous car. It was fine. Certainly way smaller than I was used to driving. And what can I say? I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about the whole situation, but here I was. So I now have a vehicle, and Mr. Snow has some cash in his hands. Do you think my bills got paid? Do you want to do a poll? So if you have a look at this, this is a receipt for a gun. And it was, if you can see, $1,200, I believe. So yeah, you see, Mr. Snow, he has zero sense of responsibility. So while yes, some of that money did go to bills and my mortgage and all that, but he felt he really needed a treat. Now, something else you should know about Mr. Snow is that he does not have a gun license. So no, he is not licensed to use guns. Mr. Snow is a criminal. He's got a charge. He cannot have a gun license. How did he get these guns? Well, when we had first met, he thought it would be great fun. We should go out and, we could go hunting, we could go shooting, we could, it would be fun. It's not something I really have an interest in, but, I was willing to give it a whirl. So there happened to be a weekend course, and as luck would have it, my daughter wanted to do it too, so we did it together. Otherwise, I would never have done it. But now I have my gun license. Still doesn't interest me. But yes, he was using my license to purchase these guns. So at about the same time, I had been suspicious long before. But this time I was going to find some proof, because he's always been able to, talk his way around things, gaslight me, that type of thing. So I actually reached out to one of Mr. Snow's friends and asked her if she knew about other women. Did she know anything? Was there something she could tell me? And she said, well, yes, actually I do. And she sent me a large amount of photos that Mr. Snow had shared with her. And these pictures, I can't show you. I would be kicked off TikTok. I can't even describe them to you, because I would be, again, kicked off TikTok. But let's just say they were intimate photos of women and Mr. Snow. So here I was, 55 years old, thinking, this is my life. What a gong show. And now I'm seeing these photos. Like, I feel like I'm living in a teenage dream where Susie is cheating on Patty. I don't know. It just felt really, really bizarre to me. But apparently Mr. Snow does like to, how should I say it, brag about his conquests. And at this point, I was fairly certain that I had found the mystery woman, Denise. And yes, I did confront him. I did. I'm not going to get into that, because that's a whole nother story. And you know what? It's kind of irrelevant to be certain. Suffice it to say that he tried to gaslight me. And when he could no longer intimidate and convince me that I was the crazy one, he decided being ashamed, apologizing, and groveling was then in his best interest. So he did fess up and tell me how he met his friend, Denise. He's known Denise since way before me. This is when he was driving back with Karen. They were stopped at a truck dealership or a tire dealership. They were getting a tire replaced on the Semi. And as luck would have it, this woman was waiting for her car to have some tires changed as well, but was waiting for her husband to pick her up, because there's always a husband, right, in Mr. Snow's stories. So they started chatting, and they were just having a really good chat. And she was a nice person. And, come on, Shelley, she was married. So they exchanged phone numbers, because they had become friends. That's how friends work now. So that was his story, and he was sticking to it. And the photo where I couldn't quite see Mr. Snow's face, but I was like 99.8% sure those body parts belonged to him. No, she sent me that photo of her with her boyfriend. Why would you think I'd even want to see that? But, it's her boyfriend. She's split up from her husband now, and that's her new boyfriend. So at any rate, that's the story of how he met Denise. Stay tuned for 23, because just when you think that there can't possibly be any more, I'm not even close to being done my story yet.